Now, Rovner Products is best known for their ligatures, but did you know they also make mouthpieces too? In fact, they've been doing it for a really long time. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the new Avatar mouthpiece, the Deep-V Series from Rovner Products. The Rovner Avatar is a big mouthpiece. This is in comparison to the Jody Jazz Jet. You can see how large it is. It almost looks like it's a Barry sax mouthpiece, but it's not. Now, when looking at this mouthpiece, it is really unique. You can see that V-shaped baffle and chamber and the deep V window over here. And when you look at it from this view, you could see the really unique shape of that chamber, and it's like it's forming like a pentagon over there. It's a really sleek looking mouthpiece. The beak isn't too wide, so for those people that may have, like, for example, TMJ or jaw problems, you won't have to worry that the beak is fairly thin enough. It's a really pretty looking mouthpiece, and it's definitely very unique. So my first impression of this mouthpiece was that it was going to be super bright. And I was basing it on what I saw. But I should know better, because the people at Rovner, it's always the opposite of what you think. So not that this is dark sounding at all, but it's not like that very bright, edgy sound at all. And it's also not a direct, like, laser beam focus type of sound. To me, this mouthpiece has more of a spread sound that kind of like envelops you. And as George Reeder from Rovner Products talks about, its presence. That's what they were striving for with this mouthpiece. And what they were striving for also was to try to hit that, to solve that pain point of you're playing in a cover band and you can't hear yourself, and to not have to work so hard, because the mouthpiece will do the work for you. Okay, so that's what they were trying to address with this one, and they call it presence. So they want the mouthpiece to have this presence, this core of sound that's just going to come out there and be heard. All right, so what's really important is that the mouthpiece have a sense of evenness throughout the horn. So I'm going to do just a little bit of, like, from top tones, page 7, I think it is. I'm hitting the middle of the horn where, like, I started on 5th line F and I went down to like C sharp or something, where you get that, like the E could be sharp or the D could be sharp and stuffy. So I'm trying to hit that to see the evenness of the sound. It's fairly even, and you didn't hear too much of a change from fully fingered D to open C sharp, which is pretty good, which actually is pretty exciting when you think about it. Now, it's really important when you're trying out equipment or mouthpieces or whatever, is the evenness of sound. So one of the things I like to do, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because I'd bore you to tears, but I'm going to take a little bit from Sigurd Rascher's Top Tones book, page 7. I think it is page 7. I'm just going to play around the middle of the horn where it usually can be stuffy and could be a problem. So I want to test that out. Also checking to make sure that I'm not peaking with the microphone over there. It's pretty even. It's pretty even around that 5th line F going down to like the C and stuff, where it could, most of the time it's like stuffy on the D, 4th line D. Can be sharp there, can be sharp on the 4th space E as well. But I found it to be pretty even in that section of the horn. Now, let me just do a little bit more with regard to like evenness and stuff like that. So that felt pretty even from like low G up to altissimo G, and like I said, it felt pretty even. So that's really cool. It's consistent throughout the horn. Now, I would do a much longer process of trying out this mouthpiece, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a taste, a feel, a little bit of a flavor for it. It's fairly easy to get the notes, you know, from top to bottom, whatever your range may be, and it's just a different kind of feel to this. I do feel that spread feel, and if you're used to playing a very direct sounding mouthpiece, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for you, I think. Now, the one other unique thing about this particular mouthpiece is that the reed, the edges of your reed on both sides are going to feel like they're going to stick out over here on the sides. And it's just very little. It's intentional. That was the design. That's what George had told me with regard to this. Now, you do have some wiggle room, meaning that, you know, you could place the reed maybe 2 millimeters below the tip over here of the mouthpiece, or maybe up to 2 millimeters higher. You're going to have to experiment with that. This mouthpiece is all about experimentation, in all honesty, too. So let me test this out lined up. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to place the reed, I'm going to go 2 millimeters lower, and let's see what that feels like, and also the response. And you'll know you went too low or too high when you can't play anything. Okay, I feel like there's it's a little bit more resistance this way. So for me, it's not as bright when it's 2 millimeters lower. Yeah, I'd say 2 millimeters. I'm going to go 2 millimeters higher now, above the tip. All right, okay. Okay, so this, for me, felt at some points a little bit brighter, but I think I may have had it a little bit too high. So I would experiment actually putting this maybe 1 millimeter higher instead of 2 millimeters higher, and let's see how that sounds. So there, I felt a little bit of brightness, and it felt okay. For me, I would want to line it up. I'd feel much better lining it up. That's for me. But everybody's a little bit different. And the cool thing is that, with this mouthpiece, you could experiment. Does this mean that, like with other mouthpieces, you can't move the reed up and down? Of course not. All right, when your reed is feeling a little too stiff, you're going to place the tip of the reed a little lower, just a little bit. When the reed is, it's a great reed starting to die on you, you're going to place it a little bit higher just to get a little bit more juice out of it. But for me, I like to line this up. That just kind of feels better. All right, now, who is this mouthpiece best for? If you're playing in, whether it's a cover band or original music, or it doesn't matter, you're playing in some kind of ensemble, you're playing out, and you're playing, with people that are, guitars, monitors, and all this type of thing. I think this is going to really help you, okay? If you're struggling with getting yourself heard in the monitors and also just getting your sound out there, this mouthpiece is worth a shot checking out, because you're going to see it's going to give you a different kind of feeling of presence, okay, if you want that type of sound. So I think this is going to be great for you. Who else is this good for? Believe it or not, marching band. Okay, so if you're in marching band situation, whether it's high school or college or something like that, or you're a band director, you may want to think about checking this out for your students, because if you're struggling to hear them, this may help carry their sound, and not in a bright, brittle way, but in a very even kind of enveloping kind of sound or tone. So people that are in marching band, I think this would be good for as well. Now, also if you play, let's say, solo sax with backing tracks, this mouthpiece can do that for you. It's not too bright, and it's also it's not so resistant at all. Okay, I feel like it's fairly easy to blow. There's a little bit of resistance, which is good. I tend to like a little bit more resistance in my mouthpieces and stuff, but solo sax gigs, I think, can definitely handle this, because you can play soft. You could do standards on this. You could do Mr. Magic. You can do some smooth jazz stuff, some pop stuff, wide variety of styles. All right. And what I would encourage you to do, I'm going to put a link in the description. You'll see a video that Zach Spruill put out. He works for Rovner, where he modeled a whole bunch of styles on this particular mouthpiece on alto. Another tip for you to make this mouthpiece more effective: you may feel that you need to take more mouthpiece in your mouth in order to get maybe a better response. For me, I felt like I needed to take maybe 1 millimeter or 2, and 1 millimeter sounds like nothing, but it actually makes a big difference. So you may want to experiment with that as well. Now, the Avatar mouthpiece for tenor comes in 3 sizes: 6, 7-star, and 9. And interestingly enough, I always use 7-star, which is like a 105 tip opening, but I did all my demos on the 6. I haven't played on a tip opening size 6 in well over a decade at this point. So I was surprised by that. And I asked Zach Spruill about that. I said, do you find that people need to use, maybe one tip opening size lower? And he said that was the case for him as well. So again, it's experimentation. If you have questions, I'm going to encourage you to go to the Rovner Products site, rovnerproducts.com. The description will be in the link below. Ask the questions that you need. Tell them the mouthpiece that you're using right now, the tip opening, and they can guide you further. Now, the great news, not only will you, of course, get information about these mouthpieces, the Avatar mouthpieces, the Deep-V Series, and a whole bunch of other Rovner products on their site, but you could also purchase this now at sweetwater.com. Sweetwater.com is a great resource for all musicians, not just saxophone players. I've been buying my recording equipment, my PA equipment from Sweetwater in the mid-2000s. So I've known this company for a long time. I'm so excited that over the last couple of years, they've included band and orchestra instruments. So you could buy instruments, mouthpieces, accessories, reeds. Their prices are incredibly reasonable. They have sales all the time. The customer service is unparalleled. If you buy a product that you didn't buy from them, you could still actually call their customer service and they can help you. That's how good their customer service is. So I'm so happy to say the Avatar mouthpiece is available on sweetwater.com. As always, thanks so much for spending your time here. I hope you got a lot out of this video. Any questions, head on over to rovnerproducts.com. On that note, take care. Have a great day.